day I wake up is another blessing. Thankful every second, getting God's protection. I lost connection in the desert, I had no reception. But in that time alone, I probably learned 1,000 lessons. I used my time for introspection and some self-reflection, and analyzed a couple ways to conquer my depression. Everything doesn't happen the way we plan it to, but if we harvest energy, then we can plan it too. So take a look in my eyes, that's where the story...
Alright, howdy ho there, everybody. Apparently, there was a leak about the Nintendo Switch 2. So, I'm gonna listen to my guy Spawnwave over here. It's a channel I watch for gaming news all the time. So, I'll leave the link in the description to the original video. Give the channel a sub. I love this guy's, like, I think he's a pretty good gaming news guy, so go ahead and give him a sub if you'd like, and all that good stuff. Alright, let's get into this news. So Nintendo Switch 2 was apparently leaked, but let's get it.
So we had a bit of an interesting day today after that Pokemon Presents happened, and not necessarily from just the information.
Okay, my headphones weren't on, so we're gonna run that back.
So we had a bit of an interesting day today after that Pokemon Presents happened, and not necessarily from just the information in that Presents, but also what it related to and what it seemed to validate for a 4chan post that was posted days and days ago, and it turns out they were basically 100% correct about some very fine details that were shown in that Presents. And well, at the end of the post, yes, they talked about the next Switch, the Switch 2, the Switch Pro, something when it comes to another Switch model. And yeah, you go figure, it blew up online, started trending all over Twitter, and I thought we would talk about that here today. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you like it and subscribe if you're new to the Spawnwave channel. Let's head over here. This is over on Nintendo Everything, and it was being posted up all over the place because it's one of those situations where 4chan ends up being correct. And
coming along, Indigo just...
we've seen it happen, but really if you think about how many posts go up on 4chan versus how many are correct, it's still not very often necessarily, but
facts. That's why I'm like 4chan.
And somebody posted,
yeah, he said 100% correct
information, maybe within a company, or in this case, a company working alongside of the Pokemon company and Nintendo. I think Pokemon Let's Go, that whole thing leaked out months in advance on 4chan, and it wasn't until obviously it was completely revealed that people went back and realized it. So this is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC leaker says new Switch coming alongside Indigo Disc. Now this all comes back to this 4chan post here, and from what I understand, there were some people like Pokemon YouTubers who covered this, just kind of having fun with it, and then they went back and said, hey look, it was correct, and then they realized at the bottom, oh, they're talking about new Switch hardware as well, and potentially a time frame for when it's going to release. In fact, we'll get a blown-up look of it here. This is that 4chan post. They say, I am a programmer at a Pokemon outsourcing company. My English is very poor, so I use machine translation to complete this post. I think that's a very important thing to note, by the way. Using machine translation can do different things with sentence structure, and you can have nuance and meaning kind of get lost a bit. And we've seen this many times throughout.
Okay, so this is all the stuff
that one in mind, and I'll
in the
an idea as to how this could have been somewhat
in the show that he was correct about.
Anyway, a program at a Pokemon outsourcing company, I will say there is a lot of information here for them to know, but I mean, clearly they had the information.
Don't cancel me.
The theme of the DLC, Hidden Treasure of Area Zero and Hexagon. The version 1.2 includes dressable clothes as a reward for DLC purchasers, which I guess you could have guessed that. Like, oh yeah, there's going to be some sort of
Pokemon.
like,
I haven't played a Pokemon game in a while.
Which we've seen previously from Nintendo and even the Pokemon Company for DLC. But it gets a bit more eyebrow raising when they start to go over all the names and the Paradox Pokemon, and you can see them all here. It's a lot to try to pronounce, but again, dead on with everything. Mystery Pokemon with green mask, special terrestrial appearance. Third legendary Pokemon is a large blue turtle even. But it's the last sentence that's really got people talking, because sure, you can put all this stuff out there, but like, oh look, 4chan was correct, but it's the part that's not necessarily proven yet.
The new Nintendo Switch models.
They say we're working on a graphics enhancement patch for the new Nintendo Switch models that will be released alongside DLC 2. So DLC 2 is currently slated for winter. Nintendo, Pokemon Company, they can be kind of loose with the, I guess, the time frame or the season.
So this
technically winter,
this holiday
starts,
season,
what, midway through December and runs into 2024. But I feel like that DLC would more or less line up for the holiday, where they would try to once again have a big push for these Pokemon games.
Exactly. What it's been like almost 7 years, since the Switch
models,
came out already.
But Switch
So it's due for a new Nintendo, due for a new model.
Holiday as well, because
a new
I feel like
console.
a lot of us now are thinking, well, they'll probably have new hardware for 2024, as that would then be going into the 8th year.
Oh, we're going into the 8th. So yeah, it's been 7 years.
That does feel kind of long in the tooth for the Switch at that point, if it doesn't already. So I was figuring maybe by the end of this year we hear about something from Nintendo when it comes to new hardware, and then we look towards the first half of 2024 and they reenact the Switch launch from 2017 with whatever's next, a newer, more powerful hybrid system, or they have some other weird and wacky Nintendo idea. But in this case, a graphics enhancement patch even would be introduced for this system. Okay. So first of all, I mentioned before, and I just want to present this as a possibility here. All right. I mentioned
like all the for old games and stuff.
The second sentence, because their English is very poor.
But
so they're relying.
But do we really think the next one is going to be backwards compatible though? Remember, we went from CDs to back to cartridges. Are they gonna stick with cartridges? Are they gonna go back to CD? What's gonna happen? That's I don't hear no talk about that.
On Google Translate or Deep or whatever to essentially reform a sentence from one language to the next, and looking at that last sentence that everyone's referring to, they're working on a graphics enhancement patch for the new Nintendo Switch models that will be released alongside DLC 2. I think it's possible that the patch is what's being referred to here as releasing alongside DLC 2, and just that there are new Nintendo systems that are currently in the works. And yes, I think most of us understand
that would make sense.
We expect Nintendo to have something in
that
the
actually
future
makes more sense
outside
if
of the current
the whole machine
Switch
learning
platform,
thing
right? We expect a follow-up, something for
messed
their
up
next
somewhere.
generation device. So when you kind of break up the sentence
Machine
that
translation,
way, sure, it's not as, I guess, exciting, because it's not necessarily saying, yes, there will be a new Nintendo system for 2023. Rather, hey, a patch will come out this year. And to be honest, even that, a graphics enhancement patch from the Pokemon Company, yeah, it's kind of hard to believe too. I mean, look, we saw 1.2 come out. Didn't really do a lot to fix.
These are the first
with,
few games that they would have needed something like that, right?
Hey, one way for them to fix it, the big patch, is you buy the next system and it just kind of brute forces its way to 1080p and hopefully 30 frames per second. That's kind of where we are with Game Freak and the Pokemon Company with these titles. Selling well, but unfortunately they don't run very well. Okay, so the possibility of a Switch system, and the reason this post clearly is being looked at so much is because of all of the correct information that would be incredibly difficult to guess out of thin air. Now, it is also possible that this person had that information. This happens from time to time, where they have a lot of good info and they just kind of throw something in at the end. Like, hey, you know what? Switch systems, they're coming, right? They don't have any actual knowledge of it, but because they have so much good information, it's enough to convince people that information is also good, right? So I still think 2024 is when we see Nintendo make the move. I believe we could see the new systems at least introduced or mentioned or even shown this year towards the end, kind of like what they did with the Switch. Although they weren't exactly concerned about the Wii U's holiday, because that system was done, right? They're on to the next thing at that point. Whereas the current Switch, they still want to have a good holiday. for 2023 this year, right? You at least assume they would, even though their current lineup for the second half doesn't really scream that they're pushing hard. They still have time to unveil more stuff.
That's true.
It's possible Metroid Prime 4 is even there. So that's the thing that
they
kind
just
of
came out with the Prime
Remaster. Would they be
Remaster.
prepared to start talking about
Zelda
the
is
next
still on the
generation
way.
device ahead of the holiday that they may
They still
try to
haven't
do
said
some
anything about
decent
Prime 4.
numbers for with, yes, an aging platform, but I don't know. It is a very
I mean, they
compelling
could do
4chan post here that a lot of people again are paying attention to. So let me know your thoughts on this one down below. I'm very curious as to the idea of new Switch models, maybe more than one, and even a graphics enhancement patch for Pokemon. Which one is harder to believe for 2023? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I mean, they could do like when they did with what's it called? Twilight Princess, where they had it on the GameCube and on the Wii. That was Twilight Princess, right? Yeah, they had it both on the GameCube and the, you know what I mean? So they could do that. But, you know. Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all ready for the new Nintendo system? Huh? We gonna get the new Nintendo system when it come out, or y'all gonna wait? See what it do? I really want to know if it's gonna be backwards compatible or not. That's what I really want to know. But we'll see. Alright, catch y'all on the next one. Deuce.
I'm hiding out, wilding out, cooling down, collecting thoughts till I find my route. And if they catch me, they'll be finding out what I'm about. Until then, I'm riding out. I'm hiding out, wilding out, cooling down, collecting thoughts till I find my route. And if they catch me, they'll be finding out what I'm about. Until then, I'm riding out, riding out. Check it out. I'm a desperado, I'm living it in real life. What's next to follow? I hit the bottle.